right, we are recording, and we will be going live in five, four, three, two, one. We're
Good
live.
morning, Owasso. This is the Twins with Owasso Live, and this is the Morning Loop. The Trump-Harris debate was last night, so the first debate between the current Democratic frontrunner and the current Republican frontrunner, and I don't know, not a lot of substance was said between the two of them. I mean, it was exactly kind of what we expected it to be. Honestly, the Biden debate was run better than the Kamala and Trump-Harris debate. Now, people will be like, that's just because you think that because they called Trump out on his lies. Well, it's like, I don't know, the media was kind of propping up Kamala. They were running cover for her, and they were fact-checking Trump on the spot, but they never once fact-checked Kamala, despite the lies that she was telling up there. So it's just a sad state of affairs. I mean, it just goes to show you how biased the media is, how pathetic these guys are, trying to make sure that Kamala isn't completely obliterated by Trump. But, I'll say this. Neither of them looked particularly good in this debate. They both just kind of talked about empty platitudes, and they didn't really get in nitty-gritty on policy discussion. Like, at all. There was no real policy debate going other than his policies will destroy the country, and her policies are Joe Biden's policies. And she's in charge now. Why can't she fix the country now? So, I think at the end, Trump made better points, but, the moderators definitely, if you're watching a debate and you're biased towards Kamala and they fact check, well, that's a fact check, so he's lying. It's like, but again, that means you have to trust the media. So one of the instances of them fact checking Trump was like, he was talking about that Governor Northam, talking about how they would allow a baby to give birth, and then or allow a woman to give birth, and then they would decide whether or not after the baby was born they would terminate it. Chad, can you can even see if you can't find that?
Yeah, I'll try to find it and pull it up.
Yeah, but that's true. Even if they never made that an official policy, that's what Trump was talking about. So, so technically when the media fact-checked him on that, it's not technically wrong, but it's a lie of omission by not giving the context that, yeah, Governor Northam of Virginia did actually say that. So, they've had conversations where they'd be like, yeah, we could have a baby born, and then we could talk about getting rid of it afterwards. So that's sad. It's pathetic, and it's wrong. And again, the media didn't go, well, even though Governor Northam did say that, it was never written into law. It's like, that's what we're talking about here. That was a conversation being had at the gubernatorial level, and it actually being considered. But of course, they're just like, that's a fact check false, Mr. Trump. You know what I mean? So it's just so pathetic how the media handles this stuff. So, I don't know. It's just the state of the media has been bad for a very long time, and the state of the media is not getting any better. And it doesn't appear like it ever will at this point because they're just desperately trying to prop up people that they want to win. It's not about the truth. It's not about integrity. It's about the people we want to win. Have you found it?
I found it. We'll
Okay.
see if this is actually it, though. Hang on one second. Let me turn on the volume.
Vision in Richmond.
As a child neurologist, I have had a very difficult.
GOP's asked the governor Wednesday morning, giving an example of a serious case.
The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired.
And I regret that those comments have been mischaracterized.
Republicans accuse the governor of supporting laws that.
And again, they even cut out the full context of that video in this news context. He goes, they would determine whether or not they would want to resuscitate the baby, they would make the baby comfortable, and then they would decide whether or not they want to keep it.
Yep.
It's like after it's born. That's a real conversation that was had. And, of course, he backtracked the minute he got caught or the minute people paid attention to what he said. So, just the sad state of affairs that the fact checkers are in. It's like this is the media. The media have a foothold and a stranglehold on what gets covered. And again, you should be more concerned about what the media is not covering than the things that they actually do. Because that's what they don't want you to see. So, yeah. All right, go ahead and you can play some of the videos and clips that we have. Because Trump had a decent performance, but I would not say it was fantastic by any stretch of the mind.
Yeah, he's definitely calmed down since the assassination attempt in his first run in presidency. But yeah, it's very, very strange that he did not seem to be like his normal, like going after somebody's self, which I think worked out in the long run in the Biden debate because Biden was just so brain dead.
Yeah.
But this one, Kamala Harris is younger and just a little bit sharper than Biden. Not by much, but she's definitely a little bit sharper.
No, whenever she went off script, she sounded very bad. But I mean, Obama was the same way. When Obama was off script, he did not sound good.
No.
Trump is a crowd worker. He can think quick on his feet, and he has zingers that he can get in on people.
Mm-hmm. So we'll pull up this first one here of him saying that she was the border czar, and she was. And so this is the media, so they're saying that she was never the border czar. So it's the media from when she first got in the office to what they're saying about
running
her
cover
now.
for her now. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And border czar Kamala Harris facing some backlash.
What he said about Harris and immigration was not true. She was never appointed border czar.
And this will be her first visit to the U.S.-Mexico border region since she was appointed as the border czar by President Biden.
People are going to have to counter the misinformation. You already hear folks talking about the border czar. She wasn't the border czar.
President Biden tapped Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, to be the border czar.
Now, she wasn't the border czar. That's what Republicans labeled her.
They were very critical of Kamala Harris, especially in her role as border czar.
Now what she's up against is folks lying about her border record, calling her a border czar.
Kamala Harris, who was appointed as the border czar.
The Biden team didn't declare her the border czar. They wanted her to
the
work
gaslighting
on
is
kind of the root causes of
absolutely
immigration.
There has been so much
profound.
criticism against Kamala Harris.
I mean, the internet is forever.
Calling her sort of the border czar.
All these clips, I mean, CNN, all these places, they have these YouTube channels, and like I said, people can clip and take things off of their YouTube channels and download them and be like, we have this information, we know it. Yeah. So if you're going to start, they will, and eventually AI will be like, they'll just type in an algorithm and be like, anything that mentions Kamala Harris as the border czar, take down off of any of our websites. That way we can say that, anybody who has downloaded anything that CNN has posted can just say, oh, that's a cheat fake. So you can go to our video platform and see that there was never anything posted on that day. Again, this is what's so scary about electronic media versus print media. With print media, you could keep record of all the newspaper articles that have been clipped, and they go, you said this on this date. With the internet, it's like, we'll just delete the article. Yep. It never existed.
Yep. And that's what's scary.
Thank God for
even like with newspapers, like the retractions, like what we said before, the retractions on page 20.
It comes out 4 months later, and the retractions on page 23.
Yeah. So then there's the next one, like I said, which just proves that to me that she's a political chameleon. She does not have any true stances. Like I said, she says, my morals have not changed. I said, yeah, you don't have any morals, so they can't be changed. So here's what we have here is Kamala Harris said she wouldn't take your guns away. She supports a gun buyback program. She straight up told Trump, you're lying. We don't want to take away your guns. Bloomberg, from just a few years back when she was, running, Kamala Harris would support a mandatory buyback of assault weapons. Jeez. So another lie, and the media didn't call her out on that. Didn't fact check her on that.
Fact check false.
Mm-hmm. Then there's just this one. Since today's 9/11, we can kind of just touch on this one. Mm-hmm. Is Donald Trump left us the worst attack on democracy we've seen since the Civil War, Kamala Harris. And then, of course, today, the anniversary of 9/11, January 6th is nothing compared to this and Pearl Harbor and the first American Civil War, or the Civil War that we've had. Like, the worst we've ever seen it.
Yep.
Good Lord.
Pathetic, man. Just terrible attempts to justify slander and lies.
Mm-hmm. Then another one here. Kamala Harris repeats the very fine people hoax. Even Snopes has debunked this. Then the bloodbath comment. Like I said, she said, Trump will leave us. You said you would leave our country in a bloodbath. And here is that statement. And he's referring to the auto manufacturing industry.
Yeah, it'll be a bloodbath for the auto manufacturing industry because they're exporting all the auto manufacturing jobs to Mexico. That's what he's talking about. He's talking about the American people here are getting left behind. He's saying the people who work at these plants and have jobs there and union jobs there, it's like they're the ones getting screwed.
There will be a bloodbath if this and the outcome of this election is not to his liking.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years,
34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country, think of it, went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories. A friend of mine,
on that
There you go. So, I mean, again, he's talking about that is the bloodbath is in reference to it's going to be a bloodbath for people trying to maintain wages here in the States, referencing the Mexico and China stealing automobile manufacturing from the United States. That's what the bloodbath comment is about. But, of course, they take it all out of context. Again, the fine people on both sides was taken out of context. This is the state of the media. And again, Snopes has already fact-checked false this, but like I said, the lie is so pervasive. The misinformation is spread for so long that the fact-check doesn't really matter anymore because the people who want to believe it's true are just going to believe it's true and continue believing it's true because they've heard it for so long.
Mm-hmm. Now, this didn't happen just like this, but I thought that this one that you sent was good.
Oh, yeah,
like,
from
Vice
Common
President
Gibberish.
Harris. Trump just stated that he will deport 11 million illegals your administration let in. How will you handle the illegal immigration issue? Trump is a felon. Now, that didn't happen just like that, but she did call Trump a felon at some point in the debate.
Yes. So. And, I mean, of course, they're going to keep hitting him with that for as long as they can because that's the only thing they have to come at him with.
And as we saw with that undercover thing with the New York Attorney General or whatever it was, said, yeah, that's what they wanted. They wanted that soundbite that Trump is a felon. And then that's the other thing coming up to that. He's like, he came back and recanted all those statements after the what would you call it, the interview or the undercover hit job on him happened. So then you have to ask yourself two things. One, he was either being honest with that lady and telling the truth, or two, he will say anything to sleep with a woman, which makes him a bad person to be in politics, because if you'll say or do anything just to impress a woman, what are you willing to say and do in your job?
Yeah, absolutely. Especially when money's involved. So, I mean, and this is what's so sad. If you notice throughout the entire debate, if you watch the debates, anytime Trump would talk, Kamala was making faces. And though the reason she was making those faces is because it's supposed to be, the Democrats are going to try to use that as meme fodder and meme templates. It's like the face you make when you debate Donald Trump and he lies all the time. Like, they're going to have her making all those faces because that's all they can do. Like, her looking at him like he's a crazy person is the only thing that they can do in order to make him seem wackier than he is.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you have to gaslight people. You have to set up straw mans. You have to debate the person that the Democrats imagine he is instead of what he actually is and the good things he did during his presidency.
Yes, 100%. This next one here is just kind of funny. Kamala Harris is moderating her own debate. That lady that was moderating does look almost exactly like her.
Yeah, there is some resemblance there. They just, I mean, yeah. It's just sad, though. I mean, again, they're just talking about, and that's a good poignant meme saying that, yeah, I mean, the media was there running cover for her.
Mm-hmm. And, of course, the Babylon Bee crushing it. Moderators call a timeout to shuttle and discuss strategy with Kamala Harris, which that is most likely what happened, because here's what a lot of people don't know, was that she wanted the debate from ABC. She gave the exclusive rights to ABC. So that's one thing. So yeah, ABC is making all the revenue and getting all the
licensing rights.
Not even the licensing rights, the views. Like even the views that go to any other channel that's watching it or streaming it, ABC gets counted the views. So that's one reason that it's good for them. Two, if you don't know this, her current husband, they were introduced to each other by the ABC like news executive person. I forget the name. I need to go back and look it up, but they were introduced. Her current husband and her were introduced by the person that runs the ABC news desk.
Jesus.
So there's a little bit of corruption ties within here that nobody likes to talk about. Then going on to the next one is this right here. What she even did, she claimed this in debate. She said that she has endorsements from
Bush,
all of these like former, Republicans. Well, that doesn't mean dirt to me as a Republican from the Democratic Party who called Bush and Cheney war criminals.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, Dick Cheney's a good guy now because he's supporting Kamala Harris? That would make you the bad guys.
Yeah. So the evil war criminal, Dick Cheney, who was the puppet master behind George W. Bush's entire presidency. I mean, I'm old enough to remember all the things that they said about Dick Cheney. Everything he did was evil. You know what I mean? Like, they make movies. You remember that movie...
Vice?
No, not Vice. The one where they sell guns. You know what I'm talking about?
Not
Lord of War. No, the one with the Jonah Hill in it.
Oh, War Dogs.
War Dogs. So War Dogs. I mean, that scene where he's sitting there shooting his gun up in the air, going, "Welcome to Dick Cheney's America." You know what I mean? Like that's what people in Hollywood and the left think. They go, that is what they think of Dick Cheney. Like he is a warlord, criminal. But now he's a good guy because he's voting for the Democrats.
Yeah, he threw his towel in with the Democrats. So again, wouldn't that make you guys if Dick Cheney hasn't changed and he's still the same Dick Cheney from when he was vice president, that makes you guys the party of evil now.
Yeah, well, and that's what's so crazy is like they go that there was no talk where he's had like a moral shift in his character. Like that's not happening. They just assume there must be a moral shift in his character instead of there being nefarious purposes behind why he's supporting Kamala. Mm-hmm. Is it because Kamala and the Biden administration is doing what he basically would have been doing during the Iraq War? Promoting war? What are we talking about here? But again, it's all about this faux morality switch. It's like, oh, my morality switch turned on. Same as like what's his name? The guy that's dead now. What's his name from Arizona?
John McCain. John McCain. Yeah.
John McCain was the devil, and then he came out and stopped Trump from repealing Obamacare, despite the fact he ran for 10 years on appealing Obamacare. Yeah. That's all he did, and then he betrayed his constituency as his last act as a living congressman or senator, whatever the heck he was. He betrayed his constituents as his last living act. And then all the Democrats were like, yeah, for the greater good. He was an evil man his entire life until he did the one good thing by not repealing Obamacare.
Yeah.
He is forgiven of all his sins.
Which, if your morality switch can flip on like that, I would also argue that it can flip right back off like that.
Exactly.
So I don't trust it.
I mean, what happened? Like, I mean, who paid him off? Or what guarantees was he made? You know, that's what's happening. That's what you got to be asking yourself.
Mm-hmm. Now, the next one that I have here, I think is the best one, but this is the one that everybody has been talking about and we've hit on several times, is crushes it. Why haven't you done anything in the last 3 years during your presidency?
Again, yeah, that's the most important part. We've talked about this multiple times on the show. Kamala Harris is the current vice president. She is in political power right now. All she has to do is walk into Joe Biden's office and say, hey, let's shut the border down. That way we can crap on all of Trump's constituents by saying, yeah, no, we actually passed a bill or an act. We actually declared an act of emergency and said the border is a crisis and we have to shut it down. And we allowed the National Guard to go weapons free down there. Anybody who crosses, we're allowed to shoot at them. Like, they could do that today, but they won't because it's about importing their voter base.
Yep. I'll go ahead and play this then.
She just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things. Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. So she just started by...
I mean, that was it. That was his slap in the face moment to Kamala. That's what needed to be said. I mean, it's not difficult. You are in political authority right now.
Yeah. And if Joe Biden is this big political ally of yours, why wouldn't he pass
Why
the
wouldn't he
bills?
set you up for success for your president? It's like, hey, just say I'm pseudo in charge and let me run the show.
Well, that's the other thing is like he even said it in one of his statements that he goes that Joe Biden hates her and she hates Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they wouldn't do this. I said, so you're not exactly on good political terms with your current boss or whatever.
If you can't even get a bill passed, or you can't just go, hey, shut the border down. If you actually care about the things you say you care about, you could get it done now.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, and then that goes to show you again, the actual issues of the country matter less to her than running her campaign. It's like, I'd rather run my campaign and travel around the world or travel around America campaigning than actually solve problems. So imagine if she wasn't on the campaign trail and she was actually working. That would be a significantly better PR look for her. It's like, I'm too busy to campaign. I'm trying to run the country because Joe's too old to do it. I don't know why they didn't do that. But, they're trying to not crap on what's left of Joe Biden's legacy, I guess, from an optics perspective. But I don't know. There's just no winning with these people.
Yeah. Can't win with a party that will literally chameleon itself out of anything. No, we never believed that. No, we never believed that. Or we didn't say that. So even though she was the border czar, she has said that she's going to take away guns. I mean, she has literally changed every single one of her stances to look more moderate. That's all she's doing. She's trying to look more moderate.
It's like what Freedom Tunes is like. Kamala Harris is a conservative. She's the most conservative candidate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like they're just trying to gaslight us into believing stuff that just isn't true and stuff we've been able to see with our own eyes for years. But again, that's why Democrats always cater to the uneducated, the uninformed. Their policies and their advertisements and their, what's the better word for it? Their promotional material appeals to the uninformed.
Yep. Yeah, and we're not saying that Republicans don't have uninformed or uneducated voters. Of course they do. But they don't appeal to those people. They kind of like what the difference is between Republicans and Democrats is Democrats will go to uneducated people and just literally go to forget about what happened like a couple of years ago.
There's a reason Democrats go to MTV. They go to Rock the Vote. They go to Vote or Die. They appeal to kids.
Yeah. Whereas Republicans kind of appeal to anger.
Yeah.
That's what Republicans do. Like Fox News goes, look what they've done. Look what
outrage.
Outrage. Yes. Whereas Democrats are fire and forget. It's like, forget about what just happened last year or this last, whatever thing that we flubbed up. Just forget about it. We're going on to the next thing. That never happened.
Yeah, forget about we want the youth vote. Forget about the fact that the average age of the Democrats is actually older than the average age of Republicans in Congress and power right now.
That's why is they go to young voters because they don't have a memory that spans back 4 to 8 years ago.
Yeah.
They don't remember what happened, or they weren't in the political know-how then. Like, I was 8 years old when, they first took office. I don't know what they were doing. I just know that I was living my life, so this is normal.
Yeah.
That's the thing. The new norm, that's how things become the new norm, is because the past generations have forgotten what used to be or what was.
That's right. That's right. Unburdened by what was.
Oh, my God. That stupid little saying that she has.
Yep.
But I don't really have anything else. The last thing I have here is this South Park thing that you sent me. If you want to
we'll
even
end it
play
with that. Might as well.
All right.
Not totally white. I'm also part Northern Asian and even some Kurdish. I'm a victim of oppression.
I used to get in trouble for always using the N-word. But with DNA and me, I found out that I'm 2.1% black.
Morning, Steve.
Sup? The test is easy. Simply swab the inside of your mouth and send it into our labs.
People made fun of me for being French. DNA and me showed I was 8% Navajo. Nobody's making fun of me now or my people who are victims.
I'm 13% victim.
I'm 21% victim.
Order now and find out if your friends should be more sympathetic towards you. DNA and me. Are you in? Hell f***ing yeah.
Turns out I'm
There
not
you
totally
go.
white.
South Park crushing it with their social commentary like they always do, man. And I said, yeah, I mean, the caption of that video is the modern state of the Democratic Party. That is so true. That is so true. Again, I mean, the Democrats have always been about this victim mentality. This is why the DEI is taken over. The Oppression Olympics is the most important thing that you can participate in, because if you're a victim, you don't have to take responsibility, and it's not your fault.
Yeah, and people will cater to you. I mean, there is a reason why victim mentality is such a hot button issue right now, and it always has been, is because if you're any type of victim, it's not your fault. You know, someone else has to pay for it, or someone else has to, you know, feel sorry for you or do something for you.
Again, you know, they always talk about the minority groups. It's like when a person of color gets pulled over, let's say a black person, it's like, well, instead of taking responsibility, it's like, were you speeding? You could just say, yes, I was. Instead, it just goes, you're pulling me over because I'm black. Don't go there. Were you speeding? Is that why you're getting pulled over? Are your tags up to date? Think logically about the things that are happening and why they're happening. Mm-hmm. If there is no good justification for it, take it to court. Yep. Ask for their badge number. Ask for their superior. Like, what purpose?
And film them now. I mean, most of them have body cameras now.
Yeah.
And, you know, you have your phone. You're allowed to film them.
Yeah. Don't just make the assumption or try to get out of it by playing that card. Like, take accountability. Take responsibility. And said that's the thing. The Democratic Party is that they're saying, no, don't take responsibility. Don't take accountability. You're a victim. That's why you cannot possibly want to have this party in power, because that's all that they're touting right now.
Yep.
So, yep. But anyway, that was our opinions on the modern state of the Democratic Party and how the debate went. It was not the best debate I've ever seen. Trump definitely, I think, got some zingers and slaps in on her. I mean, he even stole her, I'm speaking right now. And that was a really funny line.
Yeah, that was great.
But yeah, so, but again, you know, it's the sad state of affairs that the media just wouldn't call out Kamala for the lies that she told, despite the fact they'd be like, I mean, they fact-checked Trump 7 times in the debate.
They fact-checked him several times, and the only time they even remotely called her out was about, my morals haven't changed. Just, you say your morals haven't changed, but yet your positions on several different issues have completely changed. Mm-hmm. How can you argue that?
And they didn't press her on it. And they said, again, it's like they'd press Trump on it, and they'd say, and then you didn't answer the question, Mr. President. And then whenever Kamala wouldn't answer a question, they were like, well, ma'am, you didn't actually answer the question. It's like they never said that. They're like going, thank you, Ms. Harris.
That happened multiple times where they would ask her a question about like the raising inflation and like the border issue, and she would just dance around the issue. That happened several times throughout the debate, and you're absolutely right. Trump, they would not let him off on a question that they'd ask, but her, oh, that was a beautiful answer. Beautiful answer. Moving on.
Yes, moving on. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Vice President. But yeah, no, it's sad, it's pathetic, but I mean, that's the state of the media right now. So that's about all we got for you today. This is the Twins with Owasso Live. This was the Morning Loop. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe so you too can stay in the loop. We are signing off. God bless you, everyone.
See you later, everybody.